Assalamu alaikum. Protests in China's Hong Kong territory are all over the news. Pretty much every major news network is talking about this. China is also in the news for the crackdown on its Uyghur Muslim minority in the western province of Xinjiang, not to mention the so called trade war between China and the United States. Both sides are hurling tariffs at each other. These are a series of small pictures. Let's see if we can zoom out to see the big picture. Let's start with a map of the world. China is located in East Asia. It is a large, populous country that has been intact as a territory for a few thousand years. So the ethnic and linguistic differences in China are not as prominent as they might be in other countries. To the north of China are Mongolia and Russia. To the west are the Central Asian republics. To the south are Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, Burma, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. Most importantly, to the east of China is the Pacific Ocean. It is in this ocean that China is competing with the United States for hegemony and not losing. Obviously, the Americans would try to find chinks in the Chinese armor. The chinks in the Chinese armor bring us back to the map of China. It's important to understand that China's huge population lives mostly in the eastern half of the country. This demographic map shows the number of people per square kilometer, denoted by color. You will notice coastal cities, these are the darkest areas, with big populations. It is through these ports that China has traded with the rest of the world. This makes some residents of these cities very wealthy. These are cities like Shanghai, Zhejiang, Fujian, Guangdong, and of course, Hong Kong. It wasn't always like this. China wasn't doing much trade with the rest of the world over the past century. In the 1980s, Chinese Premier Deng Xiaoping opened China up. With his reforms, China has become the largest trading nation in the world in less than 30 years. This has made the eastern coastal cities of China wealthier than others. This income disparity has made the rich people living in the coastal cities of China a little uncomfortable with the fact that they're supporting the rest of the country with their taxes. That's a hint of separatism. And China's opponents are trying to take advantage of this. Naturally, this makes the Chinese government very uncomfortable. You see, this has happened before. China did trade through these same ports in its history. They built one of the finest fleets of the 15th century. Under Admiral Muhammad Cheng He, this fleet sailed all the way through Southeast Asia into the Middle East and Africa. This spawned a golden age of trade. And then suddenly, under the Ming Dynasty, those voyages were discontinued and foreign trade discouraged. The reason for this was that around the year 1450, the Chinese port cities became very assertive. That's the separatism I was talking about. The Ming emperors feared that China would break up. The same thing happened during the Qing dynasty. A haijin or sea ban was enforced to prevent the income disparity between the coastal and inland regions. It's clear that whenever the Chinese state had to choose between openness and trade and wealth on the one hand and unity and integrity of the country on the other, they have always chosen the latter. They've always chosen to stay united. And it looks like that might be happening again. Anyone attempting to split China in any part of the country will end in crushed bodies and shattered bones. Chinese President Xi Jinping. So what the Chinese are doing about this is two things. Firstly, consolidation of power. If you watched the Chinese military parade this year, you would have noticed the display of sophisticated military hardware along with an outpouring of national fervor. Within China, you will also see a consolidation around the person of the Premier Xi Jinping. The posters used today are reminiscent and very similar to the ones from the time of Chairman Mao. Secondly, they are trying to level the impact of trade through the Belt and Road Initiative, or the BRI. This network of roads and sea routes will connect cities across China to the rest of the world, almost making China the center of the world they perceive themselves to be. In case you didn't know, the Mandarin word for China is Zhongguo, or Middle Kingdom. China's enemies are trying their best to unravel both these initiatives. News media are full of stories about the shortcomings of BRI and the unrest in the wealthier regions of China.
Belt and Road Forum, China's project of the century, hits tough times. The Guardian, April 25th, 2019.
The Chinese government has claimed that the protests were funded by foreign countries, and it seems there is some truth to this. A US government foundation called the National Endowment for Democracy, or NED, shows up everywhere. Its website says that it has provided grants to the Solidarity Center and the National Democratic Institute for International Affairs so that they would do some work in Hong Kong. It turned out that the NED has also funded the World Uyghur Congress, a Washington, D.C. based organization that encourages Uyghurs to protest against the government of China. I'm not saying that the Chinese government is right or wrong. All I'm saying is that these protests are not as spontaneous as they're made out to be, and regardless of who's right, we must learn to see the big picture. I shall end once again with the map of the world with China's location highlighted. What happens in China affects the rest of us. Keep an eye out, but don't forget to zoom out. Subscribe for more big pictures like this.